afternoon, football fans, and welcome to 3 and Out, brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. What's going on, football fans? Here we go. It is time to kick it into overdrive. Today's show is going to be so jam-packed, it's not even funny, but we may have a few laughs. However, we'll be bringing the thunder, because here we go, off to the races. What races, you ask? The playoff races. Oh yes, some of them already began. Some of them are on the cusps. And some of them, well, we are fighting to even get to that point. What do I mean? Well, let's start off with high school football. I'll be covering, of course, today the CIF Southern Section, congratulating the champs, of course, talking about the state brackets coming up for next week in CIF. Also, we'll be talking about the NJCAA. Well. Last night we had our first national championship of the season, of the football season. Well, I'll tell you right now, Mississippi Gulf Coast is, without a doubt, a machine. Congratulations, Bulldogs. They will pull it off yet again. First time since 2007. Anyway, we continue on with the CCCAA. And then there were two. The North, the South. RCC, San Mateo. They clash next week in the CCCAA National Championship. Also, talking NAIA playoffs. We are now getting down here to almost the end. I mean, crazy how fast those playoffs go. 16 teams enter, 1 champion. Also, we are getting into NCAA Division II and Division III. They are now in the quarterfinals. We're talking about that, breaking down some of those games, as well as taking a look at some of the biggest performances. Also, jumping on into the college football playoff. Well, we have the field set as of right now, but this is the most crucial weekend you can even ask for, because this weekend is championship weekend. You want to find out who's who? You want to get your shot at a national title? Well, this right here is the ticket. You win this weekend, you're already at the top of the list, or near the top 20, or the top of the top 25, you may get your chance. Also, we'll be getting a little NFL today, y'all. That's right. We got a combination show putting together the NFL as well. We have a terrible performance by the Cowboys last night. I guess was forgettable for them. And the Bears, well, they're kind of forgettable still. But regardless, we got many games to get into for this week. Weeks 13 and 14 of the NFL. You are tuned in live to 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, football fans. What's going on, y'all? My gosh, this week has been a freaking disaster. I want to start things off by giving my most sincere apologies for those of you who heard our very special IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame edition of The Defining Moment yesterday. Taryn and I were talking, of course, lots of sports as fast as we could, and it's kind of giving you the Diet Coke version of all of that. As well as today, I am literally going to jumble 3 and Out together with College Edition. Couldn't do it on Wednesday night. Oh my gosh, this has been a week, y'all. I mean, after, of course, crazy week and Thanksgiving last week, work schedules all over the place, all that's happening on family, Thanksgiving, all the madness, and then come to find out, on Saturday, there was an upgrade, I guess. I'm not going to get into the details, but oh my gosh. My internet, I ended up losing my internet for 4 days, so here I am trying to get my assignments done for school at Starbucks and stuff like that. I mean, big ups to Starbucks for letting me use the internet. But, it has been a week. My grades have, took a hit. And it's just been rough, man. It has been a crazy week. Of course, juggling work, trying to get all my assignments back up to par, trying to salvage the grades as best as I can for the week that I unfortunately missed some certain assignments. And it's just oh my gosh, this has been a crazy week. So, my sincerest apologies. Of course, all that stuff gotta come first. And as for the podcast, well, it suffered. And that sucks, but it did. And I'm bummed out about it. But Couldn't get the OG 3 and out going on Wednesday, but, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I had to have that crap happen, but it's okay. Today, for the next 2 hours, and I got it down to a little science here for 2 hours, we have a pretty packed day today, as a matter of fact. I am starting things off today for a very packed day on IE Sports Radio. For the next 7 hours, you will have shows here on IE Sports Radio. Well, it's pretty cool. So, I'll be starting things off here today with 3 and out, and I'll be going until, till 2 hours from now. So 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Then Mr. Terry Rodriguez will be jumping on at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, and he'll be delivering you Set Point. After that, at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern, you will have Phil and Phil giving you the first dose of Phil and Phil for this week. And that's right. Phil Robinson and Phil Robinson III be giving you Fast Break coming up, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. At 4 o'clock, we debut a brand new show. I'm so excited for this. As some of you may know already from seeing the tweets, some of you may not know, but we are actually now going regional in the United States with the different parts of the country and attacking them with shows. We're having fun with that. We actually have our first one tonight, and it is called Last Call, of course, with Mr. Luke Frink. He was on the show a couple weeks ago on 3 and Out, defending his Bears in a primetime face-off, and Mr. Daniel Clardy. Great guys, great gentlemen. I'm glad to talk to them both. They'll be debuting their show tonight, Last Call. Really excited for this. It is, of course, an all-sports show, but they're going to have an emphasis on the Midwest. Really excited for that. That'll be from 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then after them tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, it will be The Unfiltered Truth with Phil Jones and Phil Robinson III. So they have an hour off in the middle of their shows, and that's where you will have last call. So 6 hours that is, guys. So sorry about that. I don't know why I was thinking there was an extra hour in there, but 6 pure hours of IE Sports Radio. So I hope you're ready. If you're listening for the entire thing, then thank you so much. If you are just tuning in here and there casually, then great. But hey, check us out. We're having a lot of fun, y'all, as always. I mean, this is what we do. It's what we love to do. And hey, we're just a big network who loves to do our thing. So with that said, that will be the itinerary for today, the schedule for today. Next week, we are actually going to be debuting our West show. That's right, we have a West Coast show now, and it'll be covering, of course, some of the Western states, and that will be the Wild West Sports Podcast coming up with Mr. Brandon Buckingham of Bases Loaded and newcomer Mr. Matt Hames. He's also been on some primetime face-offs before. Great guy. Glad to have him aboard. And they'll be debuting next week at, I believe, let me take a look at the time. They will be debuting next week on Wednesday nights. So it'll be right after 3 and Out. And they'll be working in at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. on the East Coast. So hey, I mean, if you're, you are out there on the East, my bad. But hey, I mean, if you want to check out the Western sports, we're also working on the East Coast show that'll be working on the East Coast East Coast all the way up to the Northeast. So we're working on that show coming up, and we are looking at a Southern show as well, covering all the South in sports, and a Northwest show. So, out of the 5 regions, we already got 2 down. So, if you're listening and you're thinking about hosting a podcast and you're living in one of those regions, either in the Northeast or the East Coast, the South, or in the Northwest, let me know. That'd be awesome. I prefer, of course, you live in the area, at least, in one of those states. And, yeah, so that is the new plans for right now for IE Sports Radio. We are moving at a really good pace. We are really, really breaking out this year and just getting more listeners, and all of you are so awesome. For all of you who have been around with us, we appreciate you so much. And for all of you who are brand new listeners, we thank you for tuning in and showing us some love. I'll tell you right now, this has been awesome. Like, yesterday we just had our second Hall of Fame class that was released, and this year, here we go again. We got another one. So next year, do you want a chance to be in IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame? Well, it's very simple. Just jump right on. Show us love. Jump in the chat room and participate. Be a guest on the show. Listen to multiple shows. Get in the chat room for that. Retweet our stuff. Like our stuff. Our shows, our content.
get involved in the blog, right on there. The forum, of course, we have our forum on our website that I'm really going to start pushing this week. We got that. Sign up for our newsletter. Just be all around IA Sports Radio as much as possible, and just make us your place for podcasts. Of course, I know we all know everyone's got their different shows and everything, but especially for sports podcasts and everything like that. But hey, make us one of your primary go-tos for sports, and show yourself, be present, be a fan, and we will definitely, we'll have the nominations coming up in November of next year, and then in November we get the voting polls going on again, and we go through the whole process, and then we do what we did yesterday and conclude it with the final voting poll, and then the final 4 get in. So right now in the IA Sports Radio Hall of Fame, I just want to go ahead and put this out. This is awesome. In the IA Sports Radio Hall of Fame right now, from last year, of course, big ups to the very first member of IA Sports Radio ever. His name is Mr. Yukio Uria. Amazing guy, all the way from Japan. That's right. This dude reps us all the way from Japan. Great guy. And I guess so glad to have him, a listener. He's probably listening right now. So big ups, Yukio. Big ups, man. He's the first one ever in the IA Sports Radio Hall of Fame. And then we have Miss Angela Winstead. She is now part of the IA Sports Radio PR department. We have Vince Wright, of course, the sports governor of Minnesota, former member of IA Sports Radio, and, of course, host of the North Star podcast, along with Justin, who unfortunately had a tough go again, didn't get in again, but hopefully he can get in next year. I definitely want to nominate him again. And then we have Pete Garofalo, as I always mention, the man, the myth, the legend, Pete Garofalo. So joining them yesterday was Mr. Derek Kayapala, Julie Voigt, awesome lady, and great guy, Derek. Miss Stephanie Rahimian, she is amazing as well. Great person. Super diehard Chargers fan. And Mr. Ashton, looking crazy, man. This guy, that's his name. Great guy, man. So we had a really neat Hall of Fame, and I'm just really excited that we had our second class now. So 2019, we are in the books, and we're getting ready now for 2020. So you want to be a part of that next class in 2020? You know what to do. Anyway, with that said, all right, so anyway, sorry, my voice is a little hoarse too. It's been a crazy week. I'm still getting it back from Wednesday night, of course, CBU and UCR, the Crosstown Showdown, huge basketball game. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Of course, I'm a coach, so as some of you know, I coach high school football. A lot of yelling in that too, so my apologies. So it's been, my voice is a little hoarse. My apologies for that. But anyway, we only have now an hour and 45 minutes to get through all this football. So let's do it, all right? So first things first, let's just skim through CIF right quick and, claim the champs, because this was just an awesome weekend, and I'm so excited for all of these teams who were able to stamp their mark in football history, or in high school football history, down here in Southern California. So let's go ahead and roll in all of those results real quick, and then we'll just, continue. So, all right, so big ups and congratulations to, and I'll just hold the applause afterwards. We have Aquinas. They will defeat St. Paul 21-16 in the championship last week, and the Falcons of Aquinas will win their 4th CIF championship and their first one since 2017. So they skipped a year and came on back. Next up, big ups, y'all. This is right down the street from me, or not down the street, but in the region. Temecula Valley, man. Two of my old coaches from my high school are onto the school now, and they helped earn this championship, and I'm just so happy for them. I hope they're going state. I think all the winners go state somewhere, but awesome job for them. And Temecula Valley, they defeat Cypress 28-21. And those Golden Bears of TVHS will earn their 3rd CIF championship and their first one since 1991. So that is awesome. Next up, Crescenta Valley. They will defeat Simi Valley 19-16. And those Falcons, versus another set of Falcons here, along with Aquinas. But they will defeat Simi Valley once again, 19-16. Falcons will roll on to their first CIF championship since 2014, and that is their 3rd. Next up, the Marina High School Vikings. I remember even talking to Taryn remember during the broadcast of the St. John Bosco and Mater Dei game on Saturday, they were talking like about Marina, like wow, like they were an 0-10 team not too long ago, and the new coach jumped in, changed things around. Even Taram was saying on the show before that these guys, this is their first ever championship. He even said, like, I quote, he says like this team is destiny, which is pretty awesome. So you know what? Hats off to Marina. They will defeat Mirror 18-9 and earn their first ever CIF championship in school history. That is amazing. After that, we have Sierra Canyon. They defeated Chaminade, and Taryn and I had that conversation about if it seemed like a real championship or not, because of course they were the team that had to skip over to the championship. Chaminade had to skip over, but they defeated Norco, and they defeated Upland. And of course, Justin Flo, probably the number one linebacker recruited in the nation. And I just thought that was absolutely awesome. They did not get to play San Clemente because, of course, not gonna get into the reason why, but they had to forfeit. So Chaminade definitely had their chance to claim a title. And I'm not saying that they wouldn't have defeated San Clemente or Rancho Verde. Depending on how that whole situation, which once again, not going to get into it, would have came to a head. However, I think it's awesome that they were able to, to still win it. And I thought it was absolutely awesome that they were able to still go. Now, Sierra Canyon is somebody who I think is going to put their tokens in the bank for Division I next year. This team, they absolutely obliterated Chaminade, man. There was nothing left. Like, seriously, Chaminade, I think, gave everything they possibly had, and the Trailblazers were just too much for this team. Absolutely incredible team from the Valley. And Sierra Canyon, man, Trailblazers are on one. So that's their 5th CAF championship. And they will go back-to-back, as a matter of fact. They won it last year, I think, in Division 4. I forgot somewhere around the Division 3, maybe. But they won it this year in Division 2. So congratulations to them. Big ups to Taryn in the chat room, man. What's going on, Taryn? He says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you too, man. Next up, the Sea Kings, of course, team that Taryn knows all too well. Corona Del Mar, they will defeat Grace Brethren 56-58. Good job to them. The Sea Kings will earn their 6th CIF championship and their first since 2013. So big ups to them. They pull this thing off. South, we have all the way down in Division 10. South will defeat St. Pius. Let's see here. St. Pius x St. Matthias Academy 25-20, and the Spartans will earn I think it's their first. I don't know if it is or not, but I think it's their first championship, and if it isn't, my bad. But I couldn't get the information. But they won it all in Division 10. Then we roll on here. I think that's actually D14, I'm sorry. But then we roll on here to some awesomeness the next day, because then we have the D1 that day, which was really a really, really big game. Really enjoyed it. And this will just be absolute chaos, because I'm a little annoyed with one of the schools over here. I really thought they were going to be able to win this thing. But anyway, so San Juan Hills will defeat Loyola 21-15. Stallions earn their first CF championship in program history. Pretty sweet. So we had a lot of firsts this year. Also, the Tritons of Pacifica will defeat Lucerna 42-41. Tritons will move on to winning their very first as well in program history, winning in Division 6. In Division 8, we have here Sunny Hills. They defeat Santa Barbara 24-21. And those Lancers of Sunny Hills will earn their first title since 1992. Pretty cool there. Also, Highland defeats North 24-12. Bulldogs earn their first title in program history, winning in Division 9. Off to Division 3 here. Off to Division 13. Esperanza will defeat Ramona 42-40. Gosh, tough go, man. There were some missed kicks and just some crap that happened in that game. Kind of bummed, but you know what? Big ups to Ramona. They made it all the way. They were a terrible team over here in Riverside for a long time, and now this team has really come a long way. Esperanza will move on to get the victory. Sharon and I were talking about this team yesterday, how they went 0-5 in the league, but still got into CIF. I'm not hating, but I just don't think that's right, that teams can get in after going 0-5 in league. It's kind of the point of winning league is to get to CIF. So a little annoyed about that. But anyway, so those were, of course, the big, the big names, the big things here. And then it gets down to, of course, the Division 1 game. And, okay. I thought this was an absolutely great game. I really thought this was a great football game. However, I just don't get, like, oh my gosh. Bosco is a gosh damn powerhouse, okay? This school is such a good power. I mean, they have tons of talent. But I really, if there was ever a year, like, I think Mater Dei had this amazing dream team. I mean, Epps and Bryce Young that was there. I mean, this team is such a good team. It's just kind of crappy the way they lost, too. That offensive line has kept Bryce Young pretty clean all year long, and wouldn't you know it, it would end on a sack fumble. Sucks, right? Scoop and game over. So you know what? Awesome job, man. DJ Uyunglele is a great quarterback, super humble guy, man, hardcore leader of this team, and I'm really, really happy for what they've been able to accomplish this year. And I really think that, yeah, Coach Negro, great coach, and I really am very happy for this school and for this team, what they were able to accomplish. Mater Dei, I seriously thought they were going to pull this thing off and win it again. You know, win state, win the national. But unfortunately, I'm just really bummed, that had to happen. So for Mater Dei, but same as that time, I'm really happy for St. John Bosco. I know it's kind of like, well, then what are you kind of disappointed about? I'm not disappointed. I'm just like, I really thought Mater Dei was going to win that game. So, anyway, Terran corrective here. Esperanza went 0-3 in league, not 0-5. So, sorry, but still, that's really annoying. You don't go 0 in anything and win something, or be rewarded with going to the freaking playoffs. So I'm really annoyed about that. And then he also says Corona Del Mar is the number 3 team in California behind Mater Dei and St. John Bosco, and rightfully so. So anyway, so with that said, guys, that's just a little bit of high school. We're gonna dip out of that really early, so we only have an hour and a half left. So it's gonna be a lot actually really quick. So let's go ahead and now moving on into some college football. In the CCCAA yesterday, amazing game, okay? This is absolutely awesome. And you know what? This is a team that everyone kind of knew may just win this game going into it because they were number 1. They've been an extremely talented team. And, I'm so excited to see this team be able to accomplish so much. Remember, the list of guys that they had going forward, I mean, this is such a great feat for them. It was such a great win. So let's get to this real quick, y'all. It is, of course... as I forgot, my apologies. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to all of the CIF champions this season. Alrighty, so my apologies, but let's get on in now to of course the CCCAA. I mean, sorry, not CCCAA. It's into the NJCAA. Yesterday, what a freaking game! These two teams went head to head. Lackawanna and, of course, the infamous Mississippi Gulf Coast. It's like these Mississippi teams have it on lock, man. When it comes to the NJCAA, really, really, really tough schools. I mean, as you can see, they produce lots of talent, and more than anything, this is just a little bit of a reminder of, how good junior college football is. I think it's hilarious when coaches at like the D3 level or D2 level are like, oh yeah, it's just a junior college, ha ha ha. Like, dude. There are some junior colleges out there that could literally, like, hang with a lot of teams, like, maybe lower tier teams in high conferences. I am so serious. I seriously think the RCC's team this year, as good as they are, like, I seriously think that they could hang, like, they could probably beat teams like UTEP. Okay, like, I'm serious. Like, I am so serious. San Mateo, I know they're pretty good as well. Can't wait for that game next week. But I really think that, like, RCC's team and maybe even Mississippi Gulf Coast, I would love to see that game happen. But I really think that RCC's football team right now is good enough to beat a lot of the lower conferences for sure and hang in some of the major conferences. Yeah. Let's just say I know a thing or two about football. Okay, I've been around it for a long time. I kind of know a little football here and there, and a great team when you see it. Talent when you see it. And Why do I even make those statements? Well, because let's be real, junior colleges are either for the guys who messed up, who they went D1 and they messed up and now they had to bounce back. That's what we call them, bounce backs. And then, of course, talent that was, not found, and guys who are trying to get out, of course, big time. Guess what? Those players are all majority D1 recruits. So if one school produces a whole bunch of D1 kids, what does that make that team? I don't know, maybe, somewhat of a D1 university. So I am so serious when I say that junior college football is nowhere near. Some people really believe that, it's just a junior college, haha. Like I said, I just think it's really frustrating when people try to say that JUCOs are just the quote-unquote junior college. Realistically, guys, they're just a place for you to get your credits higher, okay? Get your credits, and, get discovered if you're not discovered, or, you're going to get out somehow, some way. So I am absolutely 100%, I believe I'm very accurate when I say that RCC or San Mateo or MSJC could probably hang in some of the Power 5 conferences. Okay, yeah. And like I said, laugh. Tell me I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm so serious when I say that. So, anyway, with that said, we also got, we got to talk about this game for sure. So, like I told you, the amount of players that came out, or that are coming out of these schools is absolutely awesome. And I really, really, really hope that, I wish these guys all the best moving forward into these Division I schools. So, anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and jump on into this game. It was actually a pretty damn good football game. The Mississippi Gulf Coast they were certainly challenged. I mean, why would they not be challenged? But quick little article here by Patrick McGee. This was written yesterday, and it is on, I'll put this in the notes of the section of the podcast, but it is from sunherald.com. It's sunherald.com. Once again, written by Patrick McGee. And he puts his title is NJCAA football rallies to claim the junior college national title over Lackawanna. And that right there is the conference that they play in, the NJCAA. So, quick little article real quick. I guess give you a little bit of the taste here. It says, the Mississippi Gulf Coast community football team claimed its 5th national championship with a 24-23 victory over Lackawanna College on Thursday in Pittsburgh, Kansas. The number 1 Bulldogs scored a pair of touchdowns in the fourth quarter to rally for the win, finishing the season with a 12-0 record. Gulf Coast previously won national titles in 48, 71, 84, 2007, and 2007. Okay, and then he says here, NJCAA head coach Jack Wright became the second coach in NJCAA history to win a national title at 2 different schools after winning at Northwest Mississippi in 2015, which is freaking awesome, right? So, I mean, seriously, this is so cool, man. Congratulations to those guys. And they had to rally at the end of this game to win it. I mean, you can't ask for a better performance when it's like, you can't ask for a better type of ending. Not that it's ideal, but you gotta love it, because this goes to show you that it wasn't just this absolute mauling, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't completely destroy them. I'm sure some people probably thought some people thought that Mississippi Gulf Coast was going to roll, but this was anything but a roll. Very good football game, and here we have in the first quarter 7-0 Mississippi Gulf Coast. Okay, then 13 points scored by Lackawanna, only 3 points scored by Mississippi Gulf Coast. So we have here a 13-10 game at the half. Lackawanna is leading here at the half. A scoreless third quarter. Okay, so once again, it is still 13-10 at the half. And then in the fourth quarter, 2 touchdowns here in that fourth quarter. And it will be, let's see here, is Bolton Austin on Austin Bolton, on a 1-yard carry. And then it would be a good BAT by Caden Davis. And then this actually was a crazy drive too. 13 plays, 59 yards in 6 minutes and 10 seconds. That's basically almost the start of the fourth quarter. That was at 10:03 when they scored. 10:03 to go. And then they'd get the freaking ball back apparently. And right after that, and then Mississippi Gulf Coast will do it again. DeAndre House, 47 yards to the house. Caden Davis nails the extra point, and wouldn't you know it, One play, guys. One play, 47 yards, and that took him 9 seconds to get down the field. Okay, yeah. At 8:14, that would pretty much be it. Then the score would be 24-13. And that's that, y'all. The defense would hold for the Bulldogs, and unfortunately, Lackawanna just couldn't do anything to get it back. And there you have it. So, big ups, of course, to all of these guys. Take a look at some of the leaders here from this game. We have a guy, the Mississippi Gulf Coast quarterback, who, maybe not the best day. I think he might want some of these balls back, especially one of them that was an interception. 10 for 25. Not the best completion percentage, but guess what? 118 yards with his long for 32. You know what? Short and sweet all day. You know what? Those 10 passes definitely did a lot to help out his team. As you can see, decent day. Not the best day, but decent enough to win, right? Then you have this guy who, these two guys right here carry the dang team. I mean, look at this. You have, and that was Chance Levertich of Mississippi Gulf Coast. Then we have DeAndre House, as I mentioned, 9 carries, 73 yards, and he had that big touchdown carry at the end of the game. And then we have Austin Bolton, who had 23 carries, 70 yards. His average was 3 yards. He had his long for 14 and 2 touchdowns. And, pretty productive day. So those guys right there were the leading rushers. Then you have receiving. You know what? Once again, not the most productive day out of the quarterback, which means that you're not going to have the most productive day of receiving. However, still a pretty decent performance by Marquise Bridges. 4 receptions, 62 yards, 15.5 average, and the long was 32. You know what? No touchdowns through the air, but is what it is. They did enough, as I mentioned, to get it done. All right. Defensively, there are some great performances here, man. This was awesome. Seriously. I think his name was Navantique. I don't want to butcher his name, but Navantique Strong. 5 tackles, 3 assists, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. Not a bad day at the office, Mr. Strong. Also, Mike Smith, 6 tackles, 2 assists, 1.5 sacks. And he got himself a pick. So, those two dudes right there definitely... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get himself a pick. We also had TJ Ficklin, who had the pick. He had 4 tackles and just the pick. But guess what? It was all enough. They got this thing done. Total team effort. And big ups here to this team. Looking overall, it looked like it was... I don't want to say a one-sided... Because it definitely wasn't a one-sided game. But time possession, Gulf Coast definitely had it longer. 36 minutes to 24 minutes of... Lackawanna possessing the ball. 2 interceptions for the Bulldogs and only 1 interception the Bulldogs actually threw 1 pick, and then Lackawanna had 2 of them. And then we had here, let's see, what was this? Fumbles lost, 2 apiece that were lost, and Mississippi Gulf Coast actually fumbled another ball, but they got it back. So they fumbled 3 times, but only got 1 of those back. And overall, guys, even with the overall yards, total offense, the Bulldogs had 224 to Lackawanna's 152. So overall, guys, if you look at this, it looks like a one-sided game. Crazy that Mississippi Gulf Coast had to come back. But it was only a 4-point comeback, so it really wasn't a comeback. They were leading already. They were leading 17-10 by the time, 17-13 with their first touchdown. But they just got it back and pretty much sealed the deal with the second one. So I wouldn't necessarily call it like a crazy, super duper comeback to win it. But, they were definitely down, and hey, they did enough to get it back. So, anyway, with that said, y'all, that will do it for the NJCAA National Champions, guys. Once again, hats off to the 2019 NJCAA National Champions, the Mississippi Gulf Coast Bulldogs. That's right, y'all. Awesome job by the Bulldogs. And, like I said, once again, I had a list, but I'm trying to find it. I don't know where it went. Of the players who are heading out from Mississippi Gulf Coast and Lackawanna. But regardless, I just think right now that, any of those players right now are, without a doubt, or could actually be a big splash for a lot of teams coming up this year. And, it's really neat to see these guys be able to come out and make a splash, And it's all about making those splashes. It's all about, being that next man up. Because you guys know as well as I do, it's cutthroat. It's very cutthroat. It's always next man up. Somebody gets hurt, next man up. So, it's like not like you're hoping for somebody to get hurt, but hey, somebody goes down. One of these players could step right up at a junior, from a junior college. And a lot of these guys are going to go on and be automatic starters because they transferred for that reason. Because, once again, when you transfer, you're transferring as a junior. A redshirt junior or I guess a straight-up junior. You can either redshirt when you first get there, or if you already redshirted in your community college, you no longer have a redshirt year. So, you've already developed for 3 years, so you're pretty much ready to start at that high, at that level. Or at least be a big part of the games. So, that's pretty much that. And the NJCAA will close the door on that this year. What a season. Awesome performances this year. Garden City, I really thought they were going to be somewhere in the running. I mean, they didn't end out too bad, but, against teams like East Mississippi, of course, the original last chance U, if you will. Teams like Snow this year, I thought, well, maybe a little something out of them. Western Arizona, let's see here. Hutchinson actually had a pretty good year. But, once again, it all came down to these two this year, and really, really excited that we had a pretty nice, new, fresh championship. Nothing against East Mississippi, but I'm just saying, pretty cool that we have, a little switch up here. And, hey, Mississippi Gulf Coast, it stays in Mississippi, but just goes down to the Gulf Coast. So, with that said, that will be that for a little college football here. NJCAA football. Now we're going to move it on to the CCCAA. And this is interesting because I am so excited for this gosh damn game. I was in the house, on Saturday for RCC. Final game there and of the season. And you know what? What a game it was. I saw a lot of my boys I used to play with back in 2011. So really happy I got to see those guys, man. Great guys. And just absolutely... I love what they're doing. Some of them are still playing. Some have moved on from football, and they're just doing bigger, better things, owning businesses and doing their thing. So others are going off to the XFL, where I'm trying to go. Just really doing a lot. And sorry about that. But I think it's really, really cool that a lot of these guys are, on their way doing their thing. And we're no matter what, we're a family. We're that fraternity, the unofficial fraternity, if you will. We're that band of brothers that every team you're a part of. He's got that brotherhood with these guys, and it's awesome. So, with that said, last week on the 7th, what a game. We had 2 games, as a matter of fact, on the 7th, and it was, not the 7th, on the 30th. My gosh, I'm looking at tomorrow. 2 games on the 30th, and they were some great games. Yes, we had the bowl games. We had 1 bowl game there, I think. But earlier in the day, talk about a freaking beatdown, man. Modesto, they defeated American River. They were on their way to the finals of the North, and, well, they went, and it was just a mollywop. Like, there was nothing that the Pirates of Modesto could do. Seriously. San Mateo, man, the Bulldogs just ran all over these guys. It was a total lashing. There's really nothing to discuss here. 41-0, guys. I mean, Luke Pateri went off. I mean, 7 for 12, not that great, but 87 yards total. You know what? Well, they'll take it. They really got down on the ground. They had so many different running backs involved in this game, but including Pateri, he even took off a few times. Jermaine Jackson, 8 carries for 77 yards. He had 2 touchdowns in the game. Darrell Page, 18 carries for 62 yards and no touchdowns, but still, I mean, even through the air, not that impressive, but it was a total team effort, guys. It was a total team effort. They really, really, really showed that they're a strong team, and, they were able to shut out. When you get a shutout in the semis, or it was the final for the North and the South, and the semis for the state. So when you can shut somebody out at that point, I think that's huge, So after that, overall, just looking at the game, total yards of offense, and you guys will agree. I mean, there's really nothing to talk about here. 342 yards total offense for the Bulldogs and 141 yards for Modesto. I mean, once again, clear gap, okay? A time possession was kind of interesting because it was only 9 minutes. we have 34 minutes and 30 seconds. For the Bulldogs and for the Pirates, it was 25 minutes and 30 seconds. So overall, this was just a trip. It was just one of those games where there's just nothing, there's no type of grasp that one team ever gets. And their team just rolls like an avalanche. So that's pretty much what happened, guys. So San Mateo will move on. National championship for the CCCAA. And then the game that I went to, this was just awesome. It was 17-0 or 16-0 in the first 5 minutes of the game, guys. I'm so serious. RCC put a boot in their behind, man. I mean, I'm so proud of my Tigers. They were able to pull off such a great win, but it was bad, guys. It was just a one-sided, very lopsided game. College of the Canyons, they defeated Saddleback in a very close game 2 weeks ago, and as of right now, it was just kind of sad to see a team that had so much hope coming forward after a real big win to just kind of move forward and fall apart. They really took a lashing from RCC. The Tigers were just too much for them. Look at this. I know I didn't read it for, actually, San Mateo. I'll just read it off real quick. But the Bulldogs scored 7 in the first quarter, 17 in the second quarter, 17 again in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, they didn't score anything. Check out RCC, man. The Tigers, okay, they are now 12-0 in the season, just like San Mateo. The Tigers, okay, 30 points in the first quarter. I'm sorry, but that's funny, okay? Like, oh my gosh. I mean, they let up 7, but 30 points in the first quarter. Then we get to the second quarter, and they put up 17 more. Yeah. It was 37-7 at the half, guys. Yes, I was there. Beat down, okay? College of the Canyons will score 14 in the third. I mean, not to make excuses, but, we were clearly resting starters. RCC will score 7. And then in the fourth quarter, it was just a shutdown. RCC scored 14 more. And that was it. 68-21 final score. RCC just delivers, and this team does exactly what I thought they would do. Good, strong, tough, stout team. Big ups to Mr. Jeffrey Gorham. He, of course, I saw him at the Crosstown Showdown. Cal Baptist and UCR, and he even said it he really believes that RCC is headed on to a national championship. And same here. And if they win this thing, guys, this will be their first title since my birth year. Okay, 30 freaking years ago, since 1989, the RCC Tigers will go on to. If they win, they will go on to win their first title since then. Don't know how many it's been or how many they've had. If that was their first, then cool, so they're second. But don't know how they were before this. But I'll tell you right now, this would be a huge thing, and I would really love to see this team pull that off. So, anyway, with that said, let's go and take a quick look here at the box score, because once again, there's nothing to really look at here. I just kind of want to look at this, personally. I was there, but I just want to make sure. I just want to see the amount of just. I don't know. It was pretty bad. So, maybe, since we did for San Mateo, we can do it for RCC too. So let's take a quick look here at the box score and take a look at everything here. So, courtesy of CCCAA-sports.org, we have here the box score, or the as I mentioned already, the box score we just went over. So let's take a look at some of the big names. Check out Barlig. It had a much better day than the game versus Saddleback. 18 for 27, 309 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He threw 1 pick, but the dude made up for it, just saying. But I know, no picks, the better. So after that, we have Tyler Thomas, and this dude is a fucking beast. 17 carries for 94 yards, and he had 1 touchdown. And Jamon McGlory, 5 touches, and 59 yards. Dude is the real deal. So, with that said, receiving was off the freaking chain. Isaiah Leaf, I want to know where this guy's going. I really hope this guy's committed somewhere. This guy he did so much more than what these 4 receptions say. But, think about this. If I just said that statement, He had 4 receptions for 152 yards. He averaged 38 yards every time, and his long was 71, and he had 2 touchdowns. And then Giovanni Sanders, this guy's a really good player as well. 4 receptions, 61 yards. His average was 15.3, and he had 35 yards for his long, and he had 1 touchdown. These dudes are the real deal, man. And then defensively, I can't even... If I went over how, like, awesome they played defensively, I seriously don't think that we'd even get to the show. So, I gotta go. But, I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest performers, Kobe Fitzgerald, this dude's going somewhere, and I hope it's USC. Okay, 3 tackles, 2 assists, 1 forced fumble. We have Ku, I believe I don't butcher his name, Ku Alatoa, 2 tackles, 3 assists, 2 forced fumbles, and then Jalen Bowens, 1 tackle, 4 assists, 1 interception. So, awesome job, right? Amazing players, and just the list. I mean, the list goes on, but I'm just not gonna. There's just too much. Okay, so but once again, big performances, great job, RCC, and I'm just so excited that the Tigers are able to pull off such a big win, and I really do believe that the Tigers are going to be moving on to win a title. And Taryn says here, in the box, in the chat box, 30 points in 1 quarter and 47 points at the half. He says, I've only got 3 words for College of the Canyons against Riverside. Come on, man. And no joke. Yeah, I mean, right? That's freakish. That's freakish. I mean, that is freaking freakish. Yeah, 47. Sorry, not 37. 47. It was a 40-point freaking game at the half. 47-7. Total beatdown. All right. So yeah, I mean, they called off the dogs, as you can see in the 4th quarter. So it was just ugly. College of the Canyons had they were kind of like Modesto. They just never had a chance, and it was just ugly. So there goes that. And you can't ask for a better performance out of these schools. So anyway, they all meet up, or both of them meet up. I really want to go. I mean, it's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like somewhere up in Stockton or like up north somewhere. But it's not. It's actually going to be in Bakersfield, which that's still not close at all. It's like freaking 4 hours up north. But at least it's a mutual meeting ground, because it's not like there is a, like a big advantage, because Riverside, that's like 4 hours north. And San Mateo, that's probably about 4 hours south. So if you think about it, maybe like 2 or 3-ish. Regardless, both teams have to travel kind of, a little ways to meet in the middle. So I think that it should be a really good game. I mean, I'm getting chills right now even thinking about, like, with the bus pulling up. And it's like, you get to see the other team. Like, this is it. This other team. We're playing these cats. Like, this team right here is the only team that stands in the way of a national title. So I'm excited for this, guys. I really am. I mean, it's, of course, only a state title because the CCCAA, we have our own opposite of the NJCAA. But I think it'd be absolutely awesome for the state champs of California to play the winner of the NJCAA. I think that'd be so cool. Riverside, hopefully we win this thing. Or San Mateo, if they win. I just would love to see them versus Mississippi Gulf Coast. That'd be so cool. But anyway, with that said, that'll be it for junior colleges. And let's go ahead and move it on now into the NAIA and the lower divisions of the NCAA. But before we do that, we are going to take ourselves a short break. I got to grab me some more water, maybe make a little coffee. So I will be back in a few minutes, but don't go nowhere. We got, of course, the NAIA coming up, the playoffs. We got NCAA 3, Division 3 and Division 2, and the FCS to talk about. Then we got to get into the college football playoff, and, of course, championship weekend coming up. I got to give you my thoughts and my picks for championship weekend. And then we have got to do a a little bit of NFL. That'll probably be like the last half an hour of the show. And we'll go ahead and recap this past weekend. I'll give you all my thoughts. And then we're going to jump right on in to this week. I'll give you my picks for this weekend. And should be a fun show. So we're going to do all of that in about an hour's time. So I'm taking myself a little bit of a break here. And when I get back, it's about that time to talk about a whole bunch more college football. With that said, you're listening to 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. We will see y'all when we get back.
From the home plate to the nets, the end zone to the finish line, here nothing is off limits and no sport is safe. Not what it seems with your host Caitlin Seam, bringing you sports like you've never heard before. Catch me Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on IE Sports Radio. The only question is, are you ready?
Scoreboard Show with your host Gabriel Montoya. This is the show for soccer, football fans, or whatever you call the beautiful game. Every week I tackle the latest and greatest news from around the soccer world, from the English Premier League to the World Cup to MLS, Liga MX, and more. You can listen to the Soccer Scoreboard Show and our lineup of fantastic guests every Friday at noon here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Drivers, start your engines. Auto racing takes many forms, from the close quarter contact of NASCAR
to the high-speed, high-risk atmosphere of IndyCar,
all the way to the pinnacle of technology with the Formula One World Championship.
No matter if you prefer the high banks of Daytona,
the concrete canyons of Long Beach,
or the flowing curves of the Nürburgring.
The international language of motorsports is simple. Go fast,
run hard,
and come home first.
So join us, myself, Darrell Kinsey Jr.,
Lolita Camello,
and Michael Ward,
on a world tour of all the best motorsports has to offer on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on your home for all that is sports, IE Sports Radio.
Wrestling fans in the podcast world, you are in the right place to listen to the right show, the premier show in the professional wrestling podcasting world, This is Ring Rambling Radio, and you're listening to one of the co-hosts. I am Martin Sandoval, a.k.a. the SoCal Saint, along with my two co-hosts, the lovely Felicia and my boy Matt. Yes, every Saturday or every other Saturday morning, you can listen to us, the premier wrestling team, giving you the premier wrestling news, rumors, updates, event discussions, everything that has to do with professional wrestling. You're in the right place. IE Sports Radio presents Ring Rambling Radio. Don't miss it, because it's just too sweet.
Hey guys, it's Blake Henley, better known as H-Town Blake to some of you. Happy to announce that Faces Loaded is back in full force. We'll be bringing that high heat every Tuesday night here on IE Sports Radio. So come home, get ready, dig into that batter's box, and see if you can chase that high heat, baby. So we'll be coming to you live with all the stats, all the rundowns, all the division rivalries, and every team that's going to make the playoff push to get to that one and only October and get to the pinnacle of what baseball is, to hoist that Commissioner's Trophy when it's all said and done.
College football, and do you want to hear a college football show dedicated to all that is college football, including junior college and the CCCAA and the NJCAA, the NAIA, and the NCAA, including Division III, Division II, Division I AA in the FCS, and Division I A in the FBS? Well then, look no further. Join myself, Larry B., and my colleagues, Mr. H-Town Blake, Blake Henley, and Mr. Christian Espinoza, each week during the college football season for the latest in college football on 3 and Out College Edition, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Good day, folks. Yours truly, Nico Green here, reminding you, tune in to the Neutral Zone Hockey Talk Radio Show, Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern, proudly brought to you by IE Sports Radio. It's the Neutral Zone. All hockey, all the time. Take care. See you soon.
Two Wheels Wednesday is the place to come for all your motorcycle sports news every Wednesday on IE Sports Radio with myself, Matt White. All the latest news, rumours, race reviews and previews from World and British Superbikes and the big one, MotoGP. Two Wheels Wednesday, every Wednesday on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport.
Hi, I'm Phil Robinson, running points, setting up Phil Jones for the finish. Join us every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as we break down the week in basketball on the home for Real Talk Sports Radio, iesportsradio.com.
Hi, I'm Brian McLaughlin. In the National Football League, there are approximately 17 million total fans.
I'm Andrew Guzman. My Dallas Cowboys make up almost 9 million of those fans.
And my Seahawks have a very loyal fan base of around 4 million.
That's more than 3/4 of all the fans.
That's absolutely correct, Andrew. And on the Common Ground Football Podcast, we'll be talking about the good, bad, and the ugly of these teams.
We'll have weekly picks, discuss transactions, injuries.
And we'll chat about the rest of the league, too.
Blake freaking Bortles?
Oh, yes. And Captain Andrew Luck.
Excellent. What about Fitzmagic?
Oh, let's not get carried away now.
Oh, all right then.
Join us each week at commongroundfootballpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcast.
It's going to be awesome.
Hey, what's up, sports fans? You're looking for a different type of sports talk show, something you haven't heard before? You got to check out the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday on 2 Live Stews Radio, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Sports talk at its finest. Always have great guests, playing some good hip-hop. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in to the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani J.B. Bodie. And of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
That's right, y'all. Show you do not want to miss. Awesome stuff, man. The Wait a Minute Show, Jelani J.B. Bodie, as I always say. I got to get his new drop on here. He sent it to me. I really got to get it up here for the toy drive coming up this year. Again, super cool thing Jelani J.B. Bodie does. And I'll tell you right now, man, that toy drive, hey, it can change a life, y'all. It can change lives. And that's what it's all about. So I think that's super cool. And more on that, like I said, we'll get a lot more on that next week. I'll get that drop up and everything. We'll get that thing playing. But it'll be a lot of fun. So anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and jump on into a little bit of NAIA coming on up. We have here from this past weekend. I mean, crazy to think that the NAIA, man, like we're already towards the end. This is a trip. Like it really is, because to me it seems like football gets started, and here we are now in freaking December. You know, but anyway, so in the brackets. Oh, and by the way, guys, before we get into the NAIA brackets, I wanted to give a quick mention here. I did receive a message a little bit ago from our guys of Last Call, and I think they may have a difficulty going down with them at the moment for tonight's show. So unfortunately, I'm not quite sure if they will be going on. However, if they do, cool. If not, then it may have to be postponed until next week. So that's just what I got at the moment. Kind of bummed because I was really looking forward to that. But I just wanted to make sure that, all of you knew. And, just ahead of time. So, yeah, my apologies. But, things happen. And sometimes we just can't control it. But hopefully, they'll be back real soon. I'm really looking forward to that coming up to see if we could, to see if we can work that out to bring them back. Well, to bring them on tonight. But if it doesn't happen tonight, then for sure they'll probably be back at it next week. So we'll be good to go. So anyway, with that said, y'all, on to the NAIA. So from this past week, It's been interesting. I think right now the biggest part about this tournament is the fact that you're always looking for last year's champ. You're always looking for Morningside, of course, or like St. Francis last year. You heard me saying that a million times over and over. And this is a trip because that's where you're looking. You always try and see like who won it all last year and are they still in it right now. So it's really neat. Like I love that. Trying to like take a look. Like okay, here we go. Like okay, this team's here. But who will it be? Who will move on and win this whole thing? So anyway, from last weekend, we had some games here, and I'll tell you right now, they got a little crazy. The bracket is absolutely nuts as of right now. And the first round, as I mentioned, is already in the books. And here we are now into this next round. And, well, it's not necessarily the champ we're worried about. It's, would you look at that? I am actually on the wrong website. I'm looking at the NCAA right now, getting ready to talk about this. But honestly, this might work out for the best. So here's what I'll do. I'm on the NCAA website at the moment for some crazy reason, and we will continue on with that. But you know what? While we're here, let's get on over. Might as well just talk about NCAA Division III. Whoops, my bad. So we'll get to NAIA afterwards, but why not? So for NCAA Division III, for the brackets here, we talked last week. Okay, we talked last week about Mary Hardin Baylor being that team to beat, and Mary Hardin Baylor Mount Union. Mary Hardin Baylor Mount Union. Mary Hardin Baylor Mount Union. Like, there's no Division III without either of those teams, and that's just the way it goes. So, kind of neat to think if one of them were to get knocked off. I'm just kidding. No, they didn't get knocked off. But this has been an eventful week, without a doubt, in the brackets. So guess what? None of these teams got knocked off, but we are now already into the semifinal, okay, or the quarterfinal, if you will. So the winners of these matchups sent for this weekend are on to the Final Four. But let's take a look at last weekend and get a recap. Okay, Mary Hardin Baylor, as we knew, would knock off Huntingdon 42-6. No knock on Huntingdon, but man, it was almost like how they beat Redlands, just pretty handedly. So they moved on to beat them, and we kind of knew the same deal. Wartburg, pretty good program, been revamped, and they are taking on a very tough Whitewater team. As we knew, Whitewater is, a team that's used to being at this stage. Well, Whitewater didn't have the easiest day. However, they would defeat Wartburg 41-28, and then we have Mary Hardin Baylor once again defeating Huntingdon 42-6. Mary Hardin Baylor will now take on Wisconsin Whitewater tomorrow. Should be a very good game. I'm gonna take Mary Hardin Baylor because they were last year's champions. I really think they're on a collision course with Mount Union. Why not, right? And then we had last week as well. Wheaton, Illinois will defeat Central of Iowa 49-13. And we have St. John's, Minnesota, defeating Chapman 55-26. So really kind of bummed out about Chapman. I really wanted them to move forward, but you know what? That's the first time a SIAC team has been to the dang tournament or the second round in a while. So big ups to Chapman. Really cool they made it this far, but no cigar this time. Wheaton will face St. John's in the bottom left-hand bracket, and we'll find out who will face either Wisconsin Whitewater or Mary Hardin Baylor. Top right bracket, Salisbury. This was actually a pretty good game. A little too much offense for me, but 62-41 over Union, New York. They'll move on to take on Muhlenberg, who will take on Brockport. As I mentioned, what was it, 2 years ago or last year? Brockport had their champion, or I think it was 2 years ago. First ever time having their program. Okay, they have never had a program, and they finally got one, and they went all the way to the Final Four. Okay, in their first or second year, that was awesome. Muhlenberg will defeat Brockport though this year, and they will go on to take Salisbury in the top right. And who will they face? They will face the winner of North Central Illinois or Delaware Valley. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I was going with earlier. I was trying to crossing my wires, as I was saying, trying to keep it a little bit of a surprise. But ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in a long time, I can't even tell you the last time these guys were knocked out this early, the mighty Mount Union will fall, and North Central Illinois will be the team to do it. They will defeat Mount Union 59-52, moving on to take on Delaware Valley, who Delaware Valley defeated 45-10. I can't believe this either. This is absolutely insane. I did not think Mount Union was going to be falling anywhere near. If they were going to lose, it was going to be in the semis, and if they were going to lose anywhere, like realistically, it was going to be in the final to Mary Hardin Baylor. But also, don't forget, Mount Union, they're a juggernaut. They're a powerhouse. They've been a juggernaut team since the Salem era, where the bowl was actually, where the Stag Bowl was played for like a cool minute, like over 20 years. Okay, Mount Union ran Division III for many years, and I'm not trying to say that they're going anywhere. They didn't go nowhere, okay? They're not going nowhere. I think they're still going to be the same program. But wouldn't you know it, somebody got the better of them, and North Central Illinois will be the team to do it, guys, with North Central in Illinois. I did not see this coming. I really thought that they would go on to the final and probably win it this year, but that's not the case. They'll be knocked out in the semis of the bracket finals, the bottom right bracket finals, or if you will say the second round. Now off to the quarterfinal, we have North Central Illinois taking on Delaware Valley. I can't not take North Central in this. I can't. Okay, North Central this team is good. To knock off Mount Union, yeah, so I'm taking North Central to win this game, to face the winner of Salisbury and Muhlenberg. And you know what? I think Muhlenberg this team is actually on one right now. They didn't have a struggle with Brockport. I'm not quite sure how good Brockport's team is, but I'm actually going to go with Muhlenberg to take on North Central in the semifinal here. Well, in the Final Four. And then on the other side of the bracket, I already got it, y'all. Mary Hardin Baylor will be taking on, I think St. John's is actually going to win this game. Just because, Wheaton. Because Chapman fought pretty hard. Okay. But once again, I just feel that there wasn't a lot more given than St. John's. So Wheaton, I think, probably get that win and go on to take on go on and take Mary Hardin Baylor, which I really think Mary Hardin Baylor will eventually move on and probably win the whole thing. I'm not going to count out either Muhlenberg or North Central, or in that case, if I'm wrong, Delaware Valley or Salisbury. But I'll tell you right now, it's just Mary Hardin Baylor. If there was going to be anybody that was going to knock them off, it was Mount Union. It might be. Who knows? North Central might do it again and knock them off in the final. Wouldn't that be something in the championship? But that's just for right now. And that's just what we know at the moment. So let's get on now over to Division 2 and get to the bracket here. And this has been something. I will tell you, this has been a crazy freaking week for these guys in Division 2, because Slippery Rock knocks off Shepherd. Okay, really good game, 51-30. Slippery Rock just has a team. These guys are amazing. I was looking at their roster, of course. I was looking at their stats, and I think these guys they have quite the squad, man. Slippery Rock is here taking on number 3, Notre Dame, Ohio. Notre Dame of Ohio will defeat Kutztown 20-17. It was an upset because Kutztown was the number 2 seed in this bracket, and Slippery Rock will now take on Notre Dame, Ohio. Really looking forward to this one because these are two very good teams. This could be like a national championship type of game right here. So really excited for that. Next up, bottom left, as I already mentioned before, upset alert, y'all. West Florida will take down the defending champions, Valdosta State, as I said 2 years ago. Okay, well, as I said, it was 3 years ago that West Florida got their program, okay? Their first year of competition was in 2016. Guess what? their second year, they will go all the way to the all the way to the final, where they will then take on Texas A&M Commerce, and they will lose in a really good game. It came down to like a fourth down play, okay? And the Argonauts are just a very tough, strong program out of the gates. Last year, they would lose kind of early. This year, they mean business. They weren't even seeded, okay? But they went on. They would knock off Wingate 38-17. Then they knocked off number 1 Valdosta State. Valdosta State are the national champions, the defending national champions, and they were number 1 going into this in the poll. Guys, West Florida has a special team. All I gotta say is go Argos all day, man. So West Florida will be taking on number 2 Lenore Ryan. Lenore Ryan defeated Carson Newman 49-21, and that will be that bottom left bracket. Top right bracket, we have number 1 Ferris State. They made it pretty far last year. They will defeat number 4 Central Missouri 37-10, and they will face, of course, Northwest Missouri State, who won it all a couple years ago. They will defeat Lindenwood, Missouri 63-7. So Ferris State and Northwest Missouri State. Honestly, I got to go with Ferris State in this one, because Ferris State last year, they went all the way to the final, all right? They lost to Valdosta. This is a really good football team. And hey, I mean, Miss Caitlin's team, of course, is from the area of IE Sports Radio. So hey, I got to throw her to show her some love as well and support her team. So I think that they have a good upper edge in this game, but we don't know. I mean, we've already seen craziness happen in this bracket and in Division 3, so who says craziness can't happen right here in this game? We don't know. But anyways, top right bracket. And then the bottom right bracket, number 1 Minnesota State, or was it them who went number 1 overall coming into this? Or that might be hockey. I'm thinking hockey. So anyway, 35-7 over Colorado St. Pueblo. 35-7, and they'll move on to take on, guess who, y'all? The Lions of Texas A&M Commerce. You want to see a really cool football field? Look up Texas A&M Commerce's football field. Seriously, it's freaking sweet. So 23-3 final score. They'll defeat Colorado School of Mines, and they were actually the number 3 seed in this tournament, or in this bottom right bracket. And Texas A&M Commerce will then go on to take on Minnesota State. Honestly, guys, I really want to see Texas A&M Commerce move forward, because I think it'd be cool to see them take on the Argos in the championship if they were to go. But, of course, they got to get through some tough competition to get there in the semis. But I'm actually going to go with Minnesota State. I want to pick the Lions. But you know what? Oh, heck with it. I'm going to go with the freaking Lions. Why? Because it's an upset type of fill. So I think that we'll do it. I'm going to go Commerce to defeat Minnesota State, and I'm going to go Ferris State to defeat Northwest Missouri State. And as I mentioned on the top left, this is going to be a really good game, but I'm actually going to go Notre Dame, man. I'm going to go Notre Dame, Ohio to knock off number 1 Slippery Rock. That's going to be pretty crazy. And then the bottom left, I got to go West Florida to knock off Lenore Ryan. So that is a really iffy Final Four, but if it happens, oh my gosh, it would be awesome. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Next up, we are going to go on, just kind of rapid fire right now, guys, into the FCS, because we're right over 40 minutes left here on the show. So next up in the FCS bracket, this is all courtesy of NCAA.com. In the FCS bracket, we have the first week in the books. Top left-hand corner, Nicholls State will defeat North Dakota 24-6. Good game there. They'll now go on to face number 1 North Dakota State. Ouch. It's kind of tough, but hey, let's see. I mean, once again, we've seen upsets already. Let's just say that North Dakota State is pretty much the last team I would think an upset would happen over. So if that happened, oh my gosh. Or at least in these playoffs, okay? In all these playoffs in the NCAA. They're the last team that I would think there's going to be an upset. Over Mount Union, over Mary Hardin Baylor, over Valdosta State, over any of those teams. North Dakota State is like the last team that I think, like, okay, upset. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. If they lose, my gosh. But Illinois State, the Redbirds, will defeat Southeast Missouri State 24-6. And there you have it. They will take on number 8 seed Arkansas. Once again, Illinois State will take on number 8 seed in the top left bracket, Central Arkansas. And yeah, that will be that. Top or bottom left bracket, we have here Albany, New York defeating Central Connecticut State 42-14. They will go on to take on Montana State, who absolutely beat the crap out of the Grizzlies a couple weeks ago to end off the season. But really good game there. So once again, Albany going on to take on Montana State. And then we have Austin Peay who defeated Furman 42-6, and they will go on to take on number 4 Sacramento State. Moving on to this side of the bracket, we have here, top right bracket, Monmouth will defeat Holy Cross 44-27. They move on to take on the Dukes of James Madison. They were the only team to knock off the Bison. If it wouldn't be for this team, the Bison of North Dakota State would have won like 10 straight already or something like that, or like almost there, like 9 straight. But I think because of that, they've won, I think, 8 in the last 9 years. Or something like that. Like, it's been crazy. But anyway, the Dukes of James Madison will now take on Monmouth. And then we have UNI, the Panthers, defeating the Toreros of San Diego 17-3. And the and the Panthers of UNI will now take on the Jacks of South Dakota State, number 7 seeded South Dakota State. Top right bracket. In the bottom right bracket, we have Villanova, the team that, remember Brian Westbrook? Remember that guy played for the Eagles, like back about a decade ago? Dude's a beast. Villanova would fall short. They'll lose to Southeastern Louisiana 45-44. Yeah. How about that game? I mean, that's something, right? You lose by a damn point. Oh, it would piss me off. that's something right there. But really, really good football game. And I mean, my gosh, can you imagine that? Like, imagine this victory, okay? But this actually happened with 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Sorry, 2 minutes and 56 seconds to go in the game. We have here, it was a touchdown, and let's see here, it would be Virgil will complete the pass to Turner, and then Turner would get the 8 yards into the end zone. It would be 44-44, and then the extra point here by Brozard, I believe is his name, Brozard, and 45-44. So yeah, that kick right there, the golden foot of Broussard. I want to butcher his name. It's Broussard. But yeah, this guy got it done. Boom. Well, they got it done, and there you have it, y'all. So, Southeast Louisiana headed on over to, let's take a look here. Southeast Louisiana headed on to take on number 6 Montana, as I mentioned. This is still a good football team, even though they got destroyed by Montana State. Good football team. So they are off to that should be quite the game. And then we have Kennesaw State, who will defeat Wofford 28-21, and they will go on to take on number 3 Weber State. So that is it. The second round of the FCS playoffs are underway this weekend. So really looking forward to that. And that is that. So anyway, y'all. Let's take ourselves one more quick little break, and when we get back, we'll jump into the NAIA playoffs, get into the college football playoffs, give you my thoughts on championship weekend, and of course, move into the NFL weeks 13 and weeks 14. Well, recap week 13, get into week 14, which we're already into that yesterday, with the very terrible performance from the Cowboys and a pretty decent performance from the Bears. Oh yeah, lots more coming. Once again, you're listening to 3 and Out right here on NAIA Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What up, all you boxing fans? This is Vince Wright, the sports governor, and me and Gilbert Batista are the host of Ringside on IE Sports Radio. Make sure you keep it tuned to IE Sports Radio, Spreaker.com for the latest edition of Ringside. All the boxing news you need right here. Keep it tuned, Spreaker.com, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Lopan, they didn't even want you. Heck, they didn't even want me. But you know what? Right about now, they have no choice. Looking for the real sports talk? Talk that's for us, the people? Look no further. The Wait a Minute Show, a prime time sports comedy cocktail that tucks you in at night. Join me and Lopan Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2livestewsradio.com and Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the waitaminuteShow.com. Sounds like a plan to me. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Indeed.
Hey, what's up, BS3 sports fans? If you love listening to the BS3 Sports Show, check out the weekend wrap-up every Monday at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern, recapping the weekend in sports like you never heard it before. Comedy, interactive chat room, it's a must-listen. Weekend wrap-up on Spreaker.com, part of the X Squad. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
My NBA college basketball fans out there, tired of hearing about just the dramatic stuff in the basketball world, tired of hearing about what such and such wore tonight and not about the game? Hey, leave all of that alone, because on Wednesday nights I got this show called Fast Break with Phil Jones here on the IE Sports Radio. And all we talk about is straight basketball, from where it comes down to the NBA, the NCAA, and even the WNBA. I don't discriminate. I give all my NBA, my basketball, whatever you want with sports, to the slam dunks, to the three-pointers, to the teardrops, to the game winners. I'm there. I'm speaking about it. I have a debate. I have my panel. I got a squad that rolls in. And we're going to be talking mad sports. We're going to be talking about the Lakers. We're going to be talking about even the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to be talking about who's the top team out there in the NBA. So, tired of all the drama. Tired of all the... What did he wear today? What kind of shoes he had? Forget all that. Just come over. Fast Break with Phil Jones here on IE Sports Radio every Wednesday night at 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time, y'all. So, yo, tune in.
What's going on, y'all? I'm right back at it. Sorry about that little delay. So, I gotta go find the NAIA bracket real quick. But with that said, yeah, this is pretty crazy on their website. They have a little bit of a little article here from the FCS, because they actually do have an FCS as well. I forgot about that. I remember reading that one time. I was like, oh crap, they have the major and the minor bowl series. But anyway, so here, I mean, they have the bigger or smaller. I don't know. I thought there was all one in the NAIA. But anyway, so courtesy of NAIA.org, it says here, Kansas City, Missouri. It says 3 of the top 4 seeds took care of business on Saturday in the NAIA Football Championship Series FCS quarterfinals round to set up 2 exciting matchups next Saturday, which of course is tomorrow. It says Grandview, Iowa defeated College of Idaho by 1 touchdown, while both Marion, Indiana, and Morningside, as I've been mentioning, Marion the team to knock off St. Francis like the last 2 years in the regular season, and to rout them from their undefeated season, stop them from their undefeated season. What was it, last year or 2 years ago? Anyway, we had here, it says, while Marion, Indiana, and Morningside, last year's defending champions, of course, Morningside, Iowa, won their first ever title last year. They'll posted shutouts over their opponents. Marion defeated Cumberland's Kentucky 30-0, and number 1 Morningside defeated St. Xavier, Illinois 51-0. They put about 50 burger, baby. Oh yeah, 51 burger at that. Lindsey Wilson, Kentucky, check this out, will defeat Kansas Wesleyan, number 3 Kansas Wesleyan at home in an exciting 35-24 victory. This was the team, guys. Remember, Taryn and I talked about this before. This was the team. I saw this on Sunday Night Football, I think. But Kansas Wesleyan was a team that blew out. I forgot what little school it was. It was Capital, I think. But sucks for them. 90-0, poor team. And it would be their third time they would hold somebody under negative yards for that season, and that was just one of them. So, unfortunately for them, it would be kind of a lashing there. But, beatdown. A beatdown city gets beat down. I mean, they didn't be beat down, but they lost by 11 points. So, once again, Lindsey Wilson, Kentucky will upset number 3 Kansas Wesleyan at home. An exciting 35-24 victory. Then, all 4 of the remaining teams are currently undefeated on the season. Grandview at 13-0 will travel to Sioux City to face the number 1 team in the nation, Morningside, at 12-0. One more time, y'all. How awesome is that? Grandview at 13-0 will travel to Sioux City to face the number 1 team in the nation, Morningside, at 12-0. Then it says, also, undefeated Lindsey Wilson at 12-0 will go head-to-head with number 11 Marion in the semifinals next Saturday. So that's coming up, of course, tomorrow. So big ups to NAIA.org for the information there. I don't know who wrote that, but that's courtesy, once again, of NAIA.org. And just how awesome is that? I'm going to go, this is going to be such a good matchup. Well, both of these are such good matches, but I'm going to go, this is tough. Okay, I'm going to have to go, dang, this is tough. You know what? I have to take Morningside. Grandview's a tough team, but I've got to take Morningside. And as good as Lindsey Wilson is, Marion is just itching. I mean, come on, they've knocked off St. Francis in the last 2 years in the regular season. They're a good football team, guys. Not saying Lindsey Wilson isn't, but I really think, I don't know why, because I was feeling Marion's going to win this thing. And then I'm going to say Marion in Morningside in the championship. So we'll find out. But that's what I got for right now, and that will be that for the NAIA. Anyway, 30 minutes to get through college football, the FCS, or the FBS, and the NFL. Can I do it? Oh, let's button, courtesy of my trusty NCAA Score Center app here. Here we go on to the NCAA bowl series, that is. We're golden bowling pretty soon, guys, but not yet. We're actually championship weekend this weekend. Starting things off tonight, number 5 Utah 11-1, number 13 Oregon at 10-2. This is a really tough game for both teams. Oregon is like make or break. If Oregon loses this could mean like recruiting for years. Oregon is kind of at the end with right now with their like mean streak that they've had, or at least really good years, and they might go back to Oregon of the 90s and the 20s if they don't, like in the 2020s, because Oregon wasn't crap in the 90s, and they took a while to pick up, but they got good in the 2000s, really good in the mid 2000s. Towards the end, they almost won a national championship. They lost to Cam Newton in Auburn that year, but I'm just saying they produced guys like Mariota, Mazzoli, good players. D'Anthony Thomas. I'm just saying this team has done wonders. Okay, LaMichael, remember him? Okay, but I just what was that? LaMichael James, I think was his name. But what I'm saying is Oregon. This is like that game. If they lose this game to Utah, expect Utah to be like a big-time powerhouse for a couple of years at least, or probably run the Pac-12. This is a good school, and I think that this is going to be a huge game for both these teams. Coaching staffs, recruiting, and absolutely major for Utah, because Utah is currently number 5. If they win this thing, there's a big chance, okay, depending on what happens in the college football playoff, but if they win this game pretty convincingly and like put up a good amount of points on Oregon, I don't know. One more team, one of these teams get a loss that are in the top 3, which I don't think is going to happen. Utah will find themselves in the college football playoff. So I'm just saying, Oregon's already out. Utah has everything to play for. Not that Utah doesn't, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Oregon because I think Oregon might have the edge in this game. But they got Utah favored by 7. There you go. So, anyway, that's tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC. I will be tuning in for that one. We're just over 3 hours for that. 3.5 hours to go. So, anyway, next up, number 7 Baylor at 11-1, and number 6 Oklahoma at 11-1 in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship game. I'm so happy there's a Big 12 championship game now. Baylor is there's so much like growth on this Bears team. But I just don't see enough to beat Jalen Hurts and Oklahoma. I just don't. This is a good football team. This is such a good football team. I am so damn excited for Oklahoma and what they've got going forward. They are also going to be fighting with Utah. Once again, if one of these teams lose that are undefeated in the college football playoff, there's a big chance Oklahoma could also be right there in the fight. Do I think that's going to happen once again? I think all three undefeated teams in the top of the college football playoff, or the top of the middle of the college football playoff, will move on and stay undefeated. But once again, Oklahoma's right there knocking at the door. Okay, they're favored by 9 points. I'm also going to take Oklahoma in this game. By the way, I'm going to go Oregon 42-41. Don't ask. I just think so. Anyway, after that, I'm going to go Baylor. Baylor. My gosh. I was going to riot this way. No, after that, I'm going to go Oklahoma 42-31. I think Baylor's going to find them, but I just don't see anything more than that. Louisiana, La Tech at 10-2, and number 21, Appalachian State at 11-1. Okay, the Sun Belt Championship is going to be a really fun game this year because Appalachian State has literally dug themselves up to this level. I mean, you can't ask more of this team for what they've been able to do. I mean, from, 12 years ago, knocking off Michigan, okay, and becoming an FBS school from the FCS, almost knocking off Michigan 10 years to the day. Oh, actually, yeah, almost doing that 10 years to the day later. You know what? They're a hungry team. The Mountaineers are a great team. I'm not going to say anything about the Raging Cajuns, but Appalachian State is favored by 6.5 points, and I think that's exactly around there. I'm going to go 7-point game. 21-14, Appalachian State wins this thing. Miami of Ohio at 7-5. Central Michigan, the Chippewas at 8-4. This is a game that's like a coin flip. They have CMU favored here by 6.5 points. I don't see this game going any other way than a victory for the Chippewas. Why? Because it's a coin flip at one point, but then I just honestly think that, there is that one game difference. But right now I just feel like Central Michigan's had to overcome a lot this year. They've had a pretty good feat. And really, overall, the Chippewas have they have some big wins under the belt. I mean, they just blew out Toledo last week. Not that Toledo was all that great, but I'm just saying, they got some big wins this year. I mean, Ball State was a close one, but they blew out Northern Illinois. They, had some pretty good competition this year. The Western Michigan game was kind of iffy, but overall, you know what? It wasn't the worst year, but I just honestly kind of feel like they might just have a little bit more over Miami of Ohio. So I'm going to go the Chippewas 24-21 in this game. 24-20, I'm going to go. Chippewas win this thing. Next up, UAB at 9-3, FAU at 9-3. The Conference USA Championship that's coming up tomorrow. This is going to be a weird coin flip game. Tara and I were talking about this on the Defining Moment. And what I'm most excited about in this one is Lane Kiffin doing his thing. Are these Blazers going to do it again? I think they're 2 years back from their program being eliminated, 2 or 3 years. They are now back at it. They won it all on a penalty last year. It was an offsides. And wouldn't you know it, they gave up the first down, they took a knee, got a victory. UAB is off to some big things. They're going to get a nice bowl game this year. FAU, once again, Lane Kiffin's, doing his thing over there. Cool. Good for him. More than anything right now, I just really want to see this Dragons team, this Blazers team that is, continue to with what they started. Nothing against the Owls, but I really think UAB can probably head on over and maybe get this victory. They're on the road. It's a tough environment, I'm sure, but I think they'll pull this thing out. They're going to squeak it out 21-17. Next up, number 20, Cincinnati at 10-2. Number 17, Memphis, in their really freaking cool uniforms, 11-1. They got Memphis favored by 9.5 points, and you know what? This is exactly what I think. Memphis has been in the championship game, and this championship game came for the AAC championship the last 3 years, including this year. They were on the road, in Orlando, taking on the Knights of UCF. They didn't win either of those games, but they've been there consistently. This year, they were the big dogs, as UCF just kind of had a really off year. Nothing against the Bearcats. They are totally an up-and-coming team. I'll tell you right now, Memphis has the it factor. I think they've got this thing. I'm going to go 31-21. Memphis to win this thing. Next up, number 4, Georgia. 11-1, number 2, LSU. This is one of those games where I was talking about if one of the top 3 fall off. Not this game. The SEC Championship is coming up. This is a freaking fight. This is as fight gets. Georgia is not a back down type of team. Georgia is as strong as it gets. I am really excited for Georgia moving forward. Look how many great players they produce. They got Jake Fromm still there. They produce Ridley. You can even think of Sonia Michelle coming out of there. Chubb. They produce athletes, okay? Like, this has been a team that has really given so much. You can even think of a couple years, actually not a couple years, but about a decade and a half ago, AJ Green, or about a decade ago. I'm just saying, Georgia produces, okay? It's not going to be their year, because I don't think LSU is going to win this thing. I'm giving Georgia all that credit because they're going to make this a fight. If this game is not a fight, then I don't understand, okay? But if LSU rolls on them, then I'm really going to take LSU in the championship already. I think LSU is probably going to win it. But overall, they just have a stacked team. There's no beating LSU right now unless you're like another LSU. And I don't think there's any other LSUs out there at this moment that are this talented. So I'm going to go final score on this one. 38-21. LSU wins this thing. Next up, Hawaii at 9-4, Boise State, number 19, Boise State at 11-1 in the Mountain West Championship game. Boise's favored by 14 points, and that's, I think, exactly what it's going to be, 28-14. Boise is strong, they are tough, they are talented, they have lots and lots and lots of depth. They're a really good team. They're stout, they're strong. This is a great program, and I just want to see them get better. I really want to see them get better. And there's nothing more than a team that can continue to strive. There's nothing more exciting than a team that continues to climb that ladder. They were not too long ago, like in the top, about 10 years ago. I remember seeing them like towards the top before the college football playoff era began. And it's like this team has been flirting with a chance for a national championship for years now. It's not this year for sure. But maybe next year, if they can really continue, there's a chance. I don't know. We'll see. But really good team, and they've done exceptionally well. So I'm going Boise State once again, 28-14. Next up, number 23, Virginia. They were able to knock off Virginia Tech last week. Great. Big ups to Taryn Rodriguez for calling that. I thought Virginia Tech was going to win this thing. I thought Virginia Tech was going to win this game, but I really thought that they just had the upper hand. Regardless, the Cavaliers, they won. The students stormed the field. Yay! And then it was like, crap. Like the announcers were talking about it. Like, we're going to they're going to take on Clemson. That sounds like a treat. It kind of sucks, but they're favored by 28.5 points. Okay, the Clemson Tigers are favored by 28.5 points in the ACC Championship game. I don't see this game going any other way than the Tigers' way. I've got Clemson winning big. I'm going to say final score on this one, 45-20, if 20, maybe less. But I think Clemson's just going to knock this team off and move on and do their thing. They're going on to the college football playoff, and I don't think anybody's going to stop them. Then we have the Big Ten Championship here. They have Ohio State favored by 16.5 points. I do not see this game going any other way than the Buckeyes' way. And the other LSU in the world right now is a team called Ohio State. And you could even say opposite that another Ohio State is LSU. I really do think they're on a collision course, and I would love to see these teams go head to head. I really would. I just don't know if that's how it's going to match up. We're going to see who's 1, 2, 3, 4. But if they end up meeting up in the national championship, Ohio State and LSU would be such a great game. I'm sorry, Badgers. I'm counting you guys out quick. I'm sorry, but number 8, Wisconsin, they've had 2 lumps this year, and one of those lumps was my bad. Illinois is a great team. They're flying the line. Yay! But I just don't see. Wisconsin, even after losing that, I don't see it. So I'm going to say Ohio State pretty big. So I'm going to go 49-21. I think Ohio State's going to roll, and they're going to have a great day, and they're going to go on to the playoffs. So anyway, with that said, Taryn is just going off here in the chat room, and he says here, let's take a look at what Taryn says here. He says, let's see. He says Utah, Oklahoma, App State, Central Michigan, FAU, Memphis, LSU, Boise State, Clemson, Ohio State. Those are my college picks. Utah moves up to number 4 and takes college football playoff. I totally disagree, but if it happens, awesome. Then he says, what time does Bama play this week? You're cold, dude. You're cold, dude. That's some cold crap. That's cold. That's cold. Poor Bama. Anyway, hey, it is what it is, right? They got to do their thing. You know, they got to get better. So it is what it is. They had some injuries. Tua will be back next year, I'm pretty sure, and I think this team will be returned to glory. Maybe not a championship, but I think they'll do pretty good. So anyway, with that said, that will do it for some college football and my thoughts there real quick. So, one more break on the evening, a couple minutes here, and when we get back, well, a little bit of NFL. I'm going to talk a little bit about last week, jump on into this week, give my picks and why, and that will be that. So, 15 minutes left until Taryn jumps on for Set Point, and we continue on with the day. Once again, you're listening to 3 and Out, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Vince Wright, the sports governor from the great state of Minnesota, and I want to thank you for listening to Sports Done Right. Make sure you're checking us out on all of our platforms, whether it's Spreaker.com, XSquadAffiliates.com. We're also heard on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, so keep it tuned here. More great things coming from Sports Done Right.
Here comes the pitch, and it comes in wide.
On the BS3 Sports Show.
Welcome to the BS3 Sports Podcast. We hope your experience with us is amazing. Sports talk, comedy, social issues, and more. BS3 is the best source. Can you dig it, son?
Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
Attention all sports fans! If you're someone who wakes up each morning with lists of sporting events to go along with your to-do list for the day, then you just might be a diehard. The world of sports is as vast as the ocean is deep, including the major leagues, the minor leagues, the college, and everything in between. This is me, your boy Larry B of IE Sports Radio, welcoming you to join me every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Defining Moment, a show that focuses on what really matters in the sports world, sports themselves, and nothing outside of them. Once again, tune in for The Defining Moment with me, your boy Larry B, every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on IE Sports Radio, right here on Spreaker.com. We'll see you there. What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Callum Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head primetime face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
That is right here on IE Sports Radio. Unfortunately, this week, no primetime face-offs. Really kind of mad about that, but once again, can't do anything about it. Anyway, with that said, that will do it for, of course, the majority of today's show. And, well, guess what? We got a little bit of NFL to get into. And it's going to be, like I said, short and sweet, nothing crazy. I guess going to have to recap these games extremely fast and then give you my picks for this week. And then, of course, Taryn gets on, of course, at the top of the hour. So, courtesy of the ESPN Scores Center app, very quick and dirty. Here we go. You ready for some quick hits? Let's do it. All right, so last week, week 13. Well, Thanksgiving was interesting because Bears of the Lions, two teams were just fighting to try and be something. Guess what? Bears win. Woo. 24-20. Bills over the Cowboys. Cowboys are falling apart. That showed last night. 26-15. Saints over the Falcons. Well, guess what? The Falcons are definitely a lot better than we thought they were, but they're not good enough. Sorry. Saints win this thing 26-18. Next up, on to Sunday. Bengals over the Jets. The Bengals finally get a freaking victory. That deserves an applause. Good for you, Bengals. 22-6. Jets, what happened, y'all? I mean, y'all destroyed the Raiders because the Raiders suck. But that's my team, I can say that. But hey, Bengals, good job for y'all. Get a victory. Titans over the Colts in a game that I really thought the Colts were going to win. Titans, are they a little bit better than we thought? Or are the Colts just kind of slumping a little bit? 31-17. Titans. Dolphins over the Eagles. That's kind of hilarious. I'm sorry. 3 wins on the year for the Dolphins. Eagles, question marks. 37-31 for the Dolphins at home. Packers over the Giants, 31-13. Wow, Giants, you almost had some kind of victory there. Not really. Packers do their thing. Steelers over the Browns. I guess everyone's still pissed off over 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago with the whole helmet thing. And Myles Garrett is what it is. Steelers pulled off a victory, 20-13. Redskins over the Panthers, 29-21. I'm not very happy with the firing of Ron Rivera. I really thought he's a great coach. When you lose all your freaking players and you lose Cam Newton, your star quarterback, it's not easy. Is what it is. Ron Rivera, go join the staff of the Patriots and go win a title. I'm serious. I think I'll be so awesome. Alexander Gaines and myself were talking about that last night, and I think it'd be great. Regardless, Ron Rivera, you're a great coach, man. Wherever you go, it's going to be awesome. So, anyway, Redskins get a victory here, 29-21. Buccaneers over the Jaguars. Wow, that was a hard game. Buccaneers, I'm just kidding. The Buccaneers continue to be inconsistently consistent. I'm just kidding. They continue to be somewhat, awkward. But hey, they win games, and they won a Florida game here, 28-11. Don't know what's going on in Jacksonville. To think 2 years ago, they were actually pretty legit. Rams over the Cardinals. Wow, that's a surprise. 31-7. Rams are trying to still find their identity. Yeah, I'm serious. They really are. Cardinals found their identity. They just got to build. I like what they got going over there. Broncos over the Chargers. Wow, Chargers really is what it is, though. The Broncos happen to pull something off pretty sweet. And you know what? The Chargers are just continuing to drop because this has been a very hard, injury-ridden year. You can't say anything more. Texans over the Patriots in the game that I nearly freaked out over. Why was this such a weird game? Because the Patriots are still fighting, and they hardly have any of their big talents on offense. Who are they going to go sign? That's all I'm concerned about. I don't know. The Patriots are not done. Texans win 28-22 at home. Good win for the Texans. Handing the Patriots their second loss of the season. And the team who handed them their first loss of the season, the Baltimore Ravens, will defeat the San Francisco 49ers 20-17 at home in a game that some people are calling a Super Bowl preview rematch of the 2012 Harbor Bowl. I still think the Patriots are going to beat the Ravens somewhere in the playoffs. Just saying. But the Ravens are continuing to show why they're so dynamic. Lamar Jackson is a freaking beast, and I had the Niners winning this game, but you know what? Congratulations, the Ravens pulled this thing off. What a victory. Off to Monday Night Football. Seattle over the Vikings. This was just a game where I knew, I was picking, now I don't want to be the I told you so guy, or the I called it guy, but really, I just know that this Seahawks team is just more talented. They're better. You have Russell Wilson. It's not easy to stop that guy. Jadeveon Clowney is an amazing asset to this defense. He's really started to be utilized a lot. I think the way that you should utilize him. I saw a really cool video on that not too long ago. I forgot what YouTube channel that was, but my bad for forgetting. But no, really, I think he's in a much better place to play football, and I really do think that Seahawks are just rock and roll, and they do their thing, 37-30 over the Vikings. And then, of course, last night, starting week 14, too bad, so sad, the Cowboys just lost another one. The Bears, 31-24. This does not mean the Bears are that good; they're still not that good. But the Cowboys, they went from good to decent to ouch in one season. Yeah. Anyway, coming up for this week, we have here, coming up, the 10 a.m. Pacific games, 1 p.m. Eastern. We have Panthers and the Falcons. Panthers at 5-7, Falcons at 3-9. Oh, I'm so sorry, Falcons. You might take I'm just kidding. The Panthers are in shambles right now. I'm actually going to take the freaking Falcons to win this one 24-21. Next up, I'm taking the Ravens over the Bills. Ravens at 10-3, Bills at 10-2, Bills at 9-3. This is going to be such a good football game. At the end of the story, though, how do you contain Lamar Jackson? We'll find out. The Bills have that recipe, but I think the Ravens are going to win this thing. Final score, 28-14. Bengals and Browns. Oh, it's going to be a hilarious game because neither of these teams know what they're doing. Regardless, the Browns, I think, are going to prevail. The Bengals got their one win on the year. They're happy. The Browns, I think, are the better team. 31-17. Next up, Redskins over the Packers. I'm just kidding. The only time that the Redskins are over the Packers are right now in this matchup because the Redskins are on the road. Anyway, the Packers, I think, are just going to hand them their rear ends. There's nothing more to say here. Aaron Rodgers was playing right now. Is what it is. They're not doing that great, but the Redskins certainly are not good enough. They're good enough to beat a beat-up Panthers team, but they're definitely not good enough to beat the Packers. If they do, what the heck? Anyway, Vikings and the Lions. Well, Vikings, you might get a victory this week. No, I don't see the Lions right now. They're just total rebuild mode, I think. I mean, they're doing their best. Patricia, I'm really all over. I'm such a fan of his, as I always say. This week, the Vikings are a little too much. Final score, 35-21. Next up, the Saints and the Niners. What a game. 10-2 teams going head-to-head. This could possibly be a Super Bowl preview as well. Don't see it, but it could be. Regardless, sorry Niners, I'm going Saints. Even as weird as the Saints have been this season, I'm going to go Saints. Or have been in the last couple of weeks, I'm going Saints. Dolphins and Jets. Hey, I'm just kidding. I'm actually going to take the Dolphins in this game. I'm going to go 14-13. Why? It's a weird score for two weird teams. I don't even understand what's going to happen. All I know is I think the Dolphins are going to win. Next up, Colts at 6-6. Buccaneers at 5-7. This is really, really awkward because I think the Colts would blow them out. However, but the way they kind of lagging a little bit, especially the way they played last week with the Titans, the Buccaneers playing pretty good. I'm going to say the Colts still win it, but it's going to be a really close one, 21-17. Colts. Broncos at 4-8. Texans at 8-4. Not a chance. Sorry, Broncos. You beat the Chargers, not these Texans. Final score here, 31-21. Texans will overcome and get a nice victory here. Well, not overcome. They'll just get a victory. Broncos at 4-8. Texans at 8-4. I'm sorry. Chargers at 4-8. Jaguars at 4-8. This is just a sad game. This is the sad bowl, guys. This is just a team where neither of these teams. It's hilarious because it's like all I can think of is sunshiny places, San Diego and Los Angeles and Jacksonville, two sunny places, but with this rain clouds over them right now, raining. That's all there is to it. I'm going to say the Chargers win this game, but if they don't, there's no surprise. I'm going to go Chargers winning this one 28-24. Chiefs 8-4, Patriots at 10-2. Could be an AFC Championship game. All I know is you don't mess with the Patriots, and I do not see them losing another game this year. If they do, I don't know. I don't see it though. It's going to be a really tough game here. The Chiefs, I'm just not doing it. I'm going 17-14, an amazingly good defensive game. Patriots, their defense comes up big in this one. I'm going to say Patriots win. Next up, Steelers and the Cardinals going head-to-head. 7-5 Steelers. Cardinals 3-8-1. Oh, this is sad. This is just so sad. I would love to see Murray take this team to a victory over the Steelers, but the Steelers they're weird. They're a dark horse. They got some kind of something going. I'm going to go Steelers in a close game, 35-31. The Cardinals do not sleep on this team. Next up, to think just it's 10 years ago, earlier this year in February. That was Super Bowl. Anyway, Seahawks 10-2, Rams 7-5, Sunday Night Football. Oh, it's gonna be a good game. No, it's not. Seahawks are gonna win this thing pretty handedly. I'm gonna go final score in this game here, 23. Not handedly. I'm gonna say 23-20. The Rams will definitely fight, even though they're home. But I think the Seahawks are gonna pull this thing off and win it. And then we have Monday Night Football, NFC East battle here from the NFC West. with Seahawks and the Rams to the NFC East. Giants at 10-2 or 2-10. And Eagles at 5-7. There's only one way to say this, guys. Giants may get a victory this week because the Eagles are playing so crappy. But then again, the Eagles have been playing so crappy, they just might unleash on a team that they know they can beat. I'm going to say Eagles, but if the Giants win, I won't be surprised. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going final score here, 35-21. Eagles win this thing at home. Anyway, y'all, with that said, that will be that for this week. Cue the music, because I'm out of here! That'll be all for today, folks. We covered so much in so little time. It has been a fun show. Stay tuned, y'all. Of course, lots coming up next week. We're back on schedule, finally, thank God. But we'll be ready to rock and roll. I'm so excited for what's to come in the world of football. And, well, with that said, we are now off to volleyball. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for Set Point with Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. He'll be coming your way momentarily right after this show to deliver you the NCAA volleyball tournament. And of course, stay tuned for today, Phil and Phil, a double dose of Phil Jones and Phil Robinson III. We got Fast Break and the Unfiltered Truth, all you Raider fans out there. Hey, I show some love and represent no matter what, man. I love my team. Oaktown? Well, of course, Raiders. That's all day, baby. Raider Nation. So, with that said, y'all, that will be it for today. I will see y'all next week. Everything will be much better next week. Alright? So, at least I hope so. Hey, with that said, y'all, as I always say, all glory to God. Without God, nothing is possible, y'all. That's right. That's right. All glory to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without Him, nothing is possible. Once again, without Him, nothing is possible. And of course, big shout out to all of our listeners out there. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for making IE Sports Radio what it is. I gotta go, y'all. I will see y'all next week. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.